Hello nerds, welcome back to another video. And today is very different than we normally do. And that is because I did get an advent calendar for Christmas this year. The second time I ever got one. My first was this Halloween. And the Halloween I bought myself, so I knew it was coming. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. I was very familiar with the dyer. I specifically chose a fade. But this time, my husband bought it for me as a surprise, which was so cute, so kind, but also meant I had no plans yet. Which is dangerous if you're getting 24 miniskeins. But I'm also very unfamiliar with the dyer. This is basically my first taste of the dyer, which I think this advent calendar was definitely very much on the lower price point of normal yarn advent. And then I think it is a very good way to learn the dyer style. This is one that is not meant to be specifically made together. This is random colors, can be anything. It's no fade. So far I've got speckles, very wild ones, very tame ones. This is a wild mix, right? That was the plan. That's what we get. So I was thinking, what am I gonna do with it? And I have compiled a bundle on Referal that is basically a page where I put a lot of patterns that interested me for Advent. Because while I was searching for Advent patterns, I found mostly knitting patterns and no crochet patterns, which is sad. And it's mostly blanket and shawls. I'm not saying I don't have blanket and shawls on this list, but I am specifically, I'm mostly a garment knitter or a crocheter. I do both. So I really wanted to see what more was out there, what other options I had. So this is how the first 7 days of this advent calendar look like. They're very, very different, as you can see. This was day 1, which is a wild mix of colors that are poppy but still quite pastel-y. There is some pastel in them, and then some vibrant ones. This was day 2, which is again very pink. Bit of orange, purple, blue, green, very mixed. This is, I believe, the most mix of the 7 days. It has basically every color in it. And this is also, I waited specifically a week, 7 days to see what I can expect of this advent calendar before I decide. This is mostly blue, some brownish, some green. I really like this one. Then this one is very neutral, but just with a lot of specks, which I also very much enjoy, but it's totally different than any other skein. Then we have this one, which is more spring, kind of pastel-y colors. It has green, it has pink, it has oranges, it has yellows. And then my absolute favorite was day 7, because it's basically 50 shades of pink. And oh boy, do I love myself some pink. So this is my favorite. And I am doing one of the projects that were there are in this, but that can be done with Advent on a different thing. If you have been here long enough, you know what sweater I'm talking about. I really want a pink sweater with gray, but then use pink minis. I think this will go in that sweater. So then we have 23 skeins to work with that are left. Let me put them back in order. In case you wonder, I have the advent calendar from Theresa Noteboom. She is a hobby dyer in the Netherlands and she sells her skeins on Facebook. And she made a calendar and she very late had still some available, so you bought one for me and that is very nice. I love it. So let's get into the patterns I found. Let's start with the obvious one, blankets. There are very, very many blanket projects specifically designed for Advent. The problem with Advent for me, or Advent projects, is that they mostly look scrappy. Or they're called scrappy. And they're very, very vibrant. They have all these colors. Their colors are starting and stopping everywhere. And that is just too busy for me. So I kind of would still like a uniform object with the ability to use multiple colors and miniskeins. So if you don't have an Advent, you can also do this with miniskeins you have or with scrap yarn you have. Mine Advent is fingering weight, but there are also patterns on this for DK weight because it's just fingering held double. In this list, you're gonna see sweaters, socks, blankets, scarves, bags, cushions. I think that's it. And there will be crochet and knit both in it. Let's start with the obvious one, blankets. There have been many blankets designed, especially for Advent. Everybody is doing the Cozy Comfort Roll, the Jelly Roll blanket, the Cozy Memories. So those are not on the list. Because we have all seen them, you probably already know about them. I know about them, and I don't want that because they don't look uniform. They have very much color on color on color, and that's a bit too busy for me. So I have multiple options for chiffon blankets in there, both crochet and knit. The crochet blankets, there are multiple patterns and some are free. It differs from fingering weight to averand weight. So that is, really a choice you want to make. The knitting one, however, is paid. It's a pattern by Miriam Molenbeek. She does it in English. And it's a throne. Specifically made for an Advent. The blanket will approximately be 85 by 130 centimeters. But, blankets are very adaptable. That's why they've used so much. And it's very easy to say, I'll make it bigger or I'll make it smaller and then use more or less minis. She does include videos. However, those are in Dutch. So, if you need them, you will need to use the English subtitle if you don't speak Dutch. It needs approximately 1920 meters of yarn in fingering weight sock yarn. That's what it made for. The whole blanket is made on 2.75 millimeter needles and it has an I-cord edge all around that I believe you're making while making the blanket. So there's no afterwards still making boredom. The crochet ones, there are so many free crochet chiffon blankets that you can have your pick and choose. I have multiples on there just in case you want an easy access to some of them. You can find that for yourself. The information is obviously very different from every pattern, and I think there are 4 on there. But if you use the stats from the past, present, and future blanket, then that will probably work. The other blanket I have on the list is one that I'm very much consider doing. It's a Sweetshop blanket by Laura Penrose. This is a knitted blanket. It is squares, and half of the squares are made with colors and half of the square is the main color, which makes it very cohesive, which I need. And I already had this blanket in mind. But when I saw the first couple of colors, especially these three, this one, it screams candy to me. So a Sweetshop blanket makes sense, right? However, my head already decided that I kind of want this blanket in Christmas. So my head is that set on making this with leftover Christmas sock yarn, or even some others Christmas yarn I have, and I'm currently making a shawl, but I'm not sure if the shawl is gonna survive because it might have to go in this blanket. This blanket is made with 2 fingering weights held together, which make it DK weight, so you can use either. For a baby blanket, you will need 24 squares, and that will make it 56 by 48, 84 centimeters, which you will need 240 gram each of the main color and a contrast color. If you're holding fingering double, twice that amount. She specifically has a section in her Referal page about using advents. This blanket is a great way to use your precious advent mini skeins, and there are a few ways you can use them. By using only the advent skeins and no main color, you can achieve a 6 by 6 square blanket that measures approximately 33 by 33. You can either use each color for an entire square or split your skeins in half and use different color for each half. Using each color twice throughout the blanket, this would make a lovely pram crib or a pet blanket. Alternatively, you can create an adult blanket by splitting each skein into 2 and adding a main color. For the main color, you will need approximately 500 gram DK weight or twice that in fingering weight, because you need to hold it double. I would personally do this with a main color, probably cream or white, especially if I'm doing the Christmas blanket. My head is very dead set on doing this with Christmas yarn. I don't have a lot of Christmas yarn though, so. But since, you can hold fingering weight double or use DK, there's a lot of Christmassy yarns from Hobby that I could use. So maybe when they're, if there's still some left, or in my local yarn shop and I can find some Christmas yarn on the deep sale in January or February, I might get them and already make a blanket for next year. I do think, however, that this advent would really work with this pattern because they're so candy colored, and this is a Sweetshop blanket. But I have to see if I want to make the same blanket twice. That is my dilemma right now. Am I gonna make this blanket twice? And I'm not making a baby blanket. I want a me blanket. I want a big, so I can wrap myself around it on the couch. That is what I want in a blanket. Then another blanket that I really enjoy, or that looks really cute, is the Granny Heart blanket by Sanita Branson. This is a €5 pattern, but it's made out of hearts. It looks so cute. Obviously, you can use a different color for every heart, and there are white lines in this one, but you can make it any color. But every heart is surrounded by a main color, and that still makes it coherent. I do love this. It is super cute. I don't know if I would have that on my couch. It might be too sweet for me, but then again, it is very sweet, and I also like it because of that. So, see how hard this is? Do you see now? And then there is this very stripy pattern, but it's not granny stripe. You can obviously do a granny stripe, a blanket with advent, but I really like the Seaside Stash Busting Blanket by Eleonora Tully. This is around €10 pattern. It's 7.63 British pounds. This just looks fun, and it is very colorful, but it is also very textured, and somehow that makes it work for me. Then, having a border on it in neutral color. That is helping to me too. I really like this. I made this kind of blanket knitted. It was Aletta's knit along many years ago, somewhere early 2000s. So I don't think it's available anymore on her Facebook. But yeah, that's kind of what this blanket reminds me on, and that was so fun to knit. There are many textures, so you're obviously learning a lot of crochet stitches. This is made with DK yarn, so you can hold fingering together. If you really want to learn more crochet stitches and use a lot of scraps, minis, or averand skeins, this might be a really good shot for you. I might do it. It looks so cute. So I'm kind of between the Sweetshop blanket and the Seaside blanket. I don't know. I do think, you know, obviously with an advent that are going to be very expensive blankets, and I have a bit of trouble with that in my mind. So I would rather use it for something wearable, but I'm not sure yet. You need to help me decide, guys. Let's move on to scarves, shawls, stuff like that. Wearables around the neck. First up is the Painting Honeycomb Shawl by Stephen West. These are color stripes in a honeycomb pattern. It is knit. I've never tried a Stephen West because I'm quite intimidated by it. I've heard you definitely learn new stitches with him or new techniques. And I think that can be very, very fun. And I believe he does have a lot of videos explaining how to do things. So that could be very helpful. This particular scarf it's worked flat with slip stitches. It's seamless. It's triangle shaped. I like the triangle shawls very much. Yeah, this is a fingering weight scarf. I think this can be really, really fun with advent. So I do think this might be better with semi-solids. But I don't know. It's cute. I also have the Altogether Now Call by Jamie Lomax. I do think Jamie Lomax is a very good miniskein designer. This one is knitted in DK weight. Most of the patterns are DK weight, but you can obviously hold fingering weight double. Oh, this pattern is actually with a fingering, DK, and worsted weight yarn. Wow, that's a lot. All right, nice. So whatever advent calendar you have, you can make it work. It's a stranded colorwork pattern. And it is a basic cow. It looks really good. She also has a head in it. For fingering weight, you will need 750, 800 yards, which is 685 until 731 meters. So doable, right? With an advent. It looks so cute. I don't think I can put the full 24 miniskeins in here. So I'm not doing this one. But I want to show you because it is nice. And if I end up using a lot of skeins for something else, or I find a project that I can only use, that I really want to do, but I can only use most of the minis, not all of them, I will make this one with it and just have two projects. I also have the Season of Gratitude scarf by Knit Joyce. This uses light fingering, and this is a scarf with multiple textures as well as multiple colors. The bands are very well defined, but I would prefer this with a fade. But it is a very nice pattern. It uses around 732 till 823 meters, which is around 800-900 yards. This pattern costs €7 and 9 cents if you want to be exact. So 7 it is. And this is made for Advent, so it's made for 24 days Advent, which is 24 days of unique knitting patterns. And that was it for scarves. Let's get on to my favorite category, sweaters. I really would like to make a sweater with this. I'm just feeling sweaters. I wear sweaters a lot. And I don't know. In my head, I don't mind as much if a sweater is expensive than if a scarf or a blanket is. That is something my head needs to work on, but currently, this is what we're dealing with. So, let's talk about patterns. The first one is going to be crochet, and is actually one I'm considering. It's the Confetti DK Pullover Adult by Nomad Stitches. This is a crochet sweater with DK yarn or fingering held double. It's a 70 stitches gauge. It's worked in a round, top down, which is my favorite kind of sweater way to do. It does have short rows, which makes the sweater just sit better on your body. I really enjoy that. This is 872 British pounds or about 11 euros. The pattern is written in 8 different sizes. The instructions for each size are color coded in order shown. The sizes are called size 1 until 8. And it's for bust measurements of 77 until 146.5 centimeters or 30.25 until 57.75 inch. This sample did use multiple yarns, and I love that they made it kind of a fade in it, but they're very different colors, but they still work together, and it fades in, and I think that is done with the way how you put your colors in. It looks great. I'm really considering making this. For a full length jumper, you will need between 850 and 1860 meters or 930 until 2035 yards. And it's an approximate, it depends on your gauge and how long you want your sweater. So, you know, I always recommend having a bit more yarn. But I don't like playing yarn chicken, so. This is on hook 6 millimeters, which also makes it go fast, but it looks so cute. I am considering this one, but I don't think I can use all my colors on this. I think 24 might be too much. But already I'm looking at like this together would work. So good. So I really thought 7 days would be enough to decide what I'm gonna do with my app. And that's why I sit down, talk to you about all the patterns I found and I'm considering to make a decision. But it turns out I'm not ready to choose a pattern, I guess. I'm not sure. This looks good, and I'm interested in this one. Another crochet pattern is the Crochet C-Class T. The photos are shown in a t-shirt, short sleeves, but you can obviously make the sleeves longer. I love that this is this is by Wool and Pine, and this is a very popular knitted sweater, and they made a crochet version, and I love that they made a crochet version. I have been eyeing the knitted pattern for a while, and now I know there's a crochet pattern. I probably gonna buy the crochet one. The crochet version is for fingering weight, but I'm not sure because it's a top-down seamless crochet project, which we love. It's perfect for using up all those fingering weight, scraps, minis, averand, stash yarns you have been holding on to. It's a fun, playful 1x1 colorwork pattern. And you can easily customize that. there is a, they're doing it in a way that you don't have to weave in any ends. There's no magic knots, so that's great. But I love the look of this, and I know that in the knitted pattern is very loved because she clearly instructs you how to combine your colors so that it looks good. So I assume it is also in the crochet version. It uses up to 300 until 690 grams, but it is short sleeve. If you want longer sleeve, you will need more. Then let's talk about the knitted pattern of this, because I do love that one. It's a sea glass sweater. They also do have the tee. I believe she also has hat and scarves in this. The knitted sweater is made in DK or fingering held double. It is a circular yoke in the round. It's top down again, which we love. It specifies that there is a video tutorial for the knitted one. I personally like that. The knitting pattern is €9.50, which is also $9 US dollars and 50 cents. Did I tell you the price of the crochet version? It's the same. They're both the same price. I think that's fair. I like that. The knitted pattern is in English, Danish, French, German, Norwegian, and Spanish available. I should have checked that with the crochet version. She does have videos about the magic knot, a stash pushing tips for coordinating matching sleeves, color palette inspiration, customization guidance for the perfect fit, and much more. This is again 1x1 color work. It looks so good. As long as you swatch and meet gauge, feel free to mix and match yarns. She specifies, I love that. This is meant for all your yarn scraps. I absolutely love the idea of this sweater. So DK weight uses 420 until 955 grams, which is doable. I've been eyeing this sweater for a while, but then I decided to go for the sweater we're talking about now. If you have been here for a while, you know what's coming. But it's my favorite adventure sweater by Dragonheart Designs. I absolutely love this sweater. I've made one. Put on my second on the needles. I did have my third one on needles as well, but I undo that. That is the pattern I'm actually making with my Halloween yarn advent. So I will not be making this pattern with my Christmas advent because I'm making it with my Halloween advent. This is a fingering weight pattern, and it uses the same concept as a C-class sweater. That's why I went with this one, because I have way more fingering weight yarn. So that's why I ended up buying this one. It's a 20.5 stitch gauge. It is a top down. It's raglan. It's compound raglan because you are a bit different on the sleeves than on the body. I find the pattern very easy to follow. It's both written out and charted, so you can choose whatever you prefer. It's $8.72 or around $8.50 in euros. This is written for an advent, but I have made it like, it's also a basic raglan sweater for me. So it's 1x1 color work, and I have made it with just one very special hand-dyed fingering and one commercial fingering. I am making it in stripes now. I will be doing my advent, but this is what I mean when I want cohesive projects. This is just one fingering skein that you love with a main color, and that makes it cohesive all throughout. And I just really love this design. I can highly recommend. This is also where probably the 7th skein is coming to, because I want to make this sweater with a gray main color and then only use pinkish mini skeins. I think it's gonna be so beautiful. Like I said, that is the plan for my 4th or my 5th No, my fourth favorite adventure sweater. I love this pattern. Cannot recommend it more. So not for my Christmas advent, although this might end up in in this pattern. But it is for my Halloween advent or countdown. What I first wanted to do with this advent, or was hoping to do, was the doodle sweater from Jamie Lomax again. I just love her doodle patterns, and she now came out with this sweater pattern. And her sample is made for Christmas. I do intend to knit a Christmas sweater with this. But I kind of was hoping that I would have more solids in this advent, so I could use it for her doodle work. She has anything you want with doodles, and I think miniskeins are just perfect for color work. She has this sweater, she has scarves, she has cowls, she has infinity scarves, she has hats, she has mittens. I don't think there's anything. Oh, she has socks as well. I don't think there's anything she doesn't have. I don't think she has trousers, so if you want that, I'm sorry. But otherwise, she has you can use all her doodles with any pattern. If you want a Christmassy one, you can do that, but you can also do the baking theme, the dinosaur theme, the camping theme. She has so many fun doodles. And you can combine everything together. If I would have had more semi-solids in my advent, this would the way I go. However, with yarn like this, it could work. But I don't think it would work as well as these doodles because they're quite busy. I think this would work well with simpler color work. So then you don't have to change colors. Like if you have snowflakes all around, you don't have to change the colors for the snowflakes or, the Christmas trees, or that's what they're going, but also like hearts. You don't have to change the color for your motifs because the yarn is changing colors for you. And then I have the dot sweater by Pernille Larsen. This actually looks a bit like the shawl from Stephen West, but in a sweater. And I think it's gorgeous. I would love it. This might actually work because it is simpler color work with strands like this. However, I do feel it would be prettier with semi-solid. So I don't think I'm personally going for this, but it looks so fun. So I am having it on my mind. I will end up with scraps from all the sweaters I'm making. And then this might be a great idea. This is made with a fingering plus a lace held together, which makes a sport weight. It's 23 stitches gauge. The pattern costs 45 Danish krone, or about €6.30. The pattern is written in English, Danish, French, German, Korean, Norwegian, Spanish, and Swedish. In case you wonder, it is charted in the round raglan. It has short rows and it is knitted top down. So it looks very fun. I don't think this is the right decision for my advent calendar, but I think it's a good option. A bit on the same vibes because I am in my colorwork era. I really want to do some color work. It's the anemone sweater by Pernille Larsen again. This is yarn held together. They're using fingering weight held together, which makes for a 23 stitch gauge. This is again 45 Danish krones, or €6.30. It is a written pattern. It's bottom up. That's sad. It's in a round. That's a bit sad, but it looks cute, right? The flowers, the colorwork flowers. And then the flowers would change colors themselves if you use strands like this. But then if you have more semi-colors, you can choose the colors of the flowers. I think it's a cute idea. I don't think I will make this with my advent calendar right now, but I want to save it for later. What might be an option though is the stripe hype sweater by Veronica Lindberg. I actually have this sweater because I was intended to make that for my neighbor, but I went with my favorite adventure sweater instead. This is DK weight, so I will have to hold my minis together, but I think it might be fun to have different stripes in these colors. I don't feel comfortable saying this is it yet, but if I can get some more skeins and I really see like, oh, these colors works really well together, these skeins, then I might. I think this is fun, and she has stripes in color blocks, which you can absolutely do just one stripe a color. This pattern is written in English, Danish and Spanish, and I own it. So that would also be, you know, a good reason to choose this one. And it's €6.90. Yeah, she also says it's a great stash busting project where you can use up scraps, yarns, or combine your favorite color in just the way you want. So that's great. Also, knitting stripes is really addictive. So I do think going to go so fast because it's DK weight and it has stripes. Especially if every color or every stripe is a different color, you want to get to the next color, or at least I do all the time. So I'm really excited about this. This might be it. I will have it with a main color. That's, well, I said, you're gonna see a lot with main color in it because it just makes a more cohesive project, and I like that personally. That is a tasting. That's a personal preference, not a need. Let's talk socks. First up is the Broken Seed Stitch Socks by Hannah Levanimi. I'm sorry I butchered that. This pattern is written in English and German, and it's made with sock yarn, fingering weight. This is a free pattern. I think that's very generous, and it looks great. It's striped colorwork, it's textured, it's cuffed down. I have printed this sock pattern previously because I enjoy it so much. Especially this version, because she has multiple versions that you can see. But I think these will work very well with a miniskein that is changing colors all the time and just held it together with, you know, a solid. And it's going to be so much fun. So if I have any leftovers of the advent calendar, I will definitely make these socks because I think this is a perfect project for these skeins. I'm just searching for the big project first to use as many skeins as I can and then do the smaller ones with the leftover skeins. Another fun sock pattern would be the Scrappy Farmstead Socks by Audrey Busby. It's, again, fingering weight sock yarn. And these are just stripes, but they just look so fun. This is a paid pattern, and the pattern costs you €5.41, which is $5 US dollars and 45 cents. This has an afterthought heel, which I've never done, so that would be something new to learn. It's top down, so cuff first. It's a written pattern and a charted one, and it's trended colorwork and it's stripes. I like them. I think that's the only two sock patterns I have. You can obviously make scrappy socks by just striping yourself, doing a vanilla sock or whatever, but these are the patterns that I have found. Then some other accessory project is I have a pillow, and it's the Green Gradient Cable Pillow. It's a crochet project. It's by Noelle Stiles, and it's a spurt weight plus a fingering held together, or it totals up to a DK weight, so you can also use two fingering. The pattern is in English only. It costs you €3.23 or $3.26. I think this is just something different, and you can use a mini skein for each stripe. I think that will look really, really cute. It's bottom up cables, it's charted, it's ripped, it's seamed, and there is a video tutorial, but it's worked flat. And the pattern is written out if you don't want to read the chart. I like it. It only has 5 colors, obviously, but you know, if you have those leftover skeins, it could work. I also would like this Stash Bashing Hot Water Bottle cover by Debbie Ragg. It's 3 British pounds and 82 cents or 4 euros and 83 cents. It's crochet. What I see, it's granny stripes, but closer together. I don't know which stitch it actually is, but that's how it looked to me. This is DK weight, so finger held together if you have a fingering one. It's in a round. It's a photo tutorial. Post stitch, which I think you're doing it later on. It's top down. It's for both the standard liter hot water bottle or the mini with only 750 milliliters. And it uses the American stitches, not the British one. So that is different with crochet. Just be mindful of that. They use US terminology. She does say that it's suitable for abilities from confident beginners to upwards. So if you feel like you're a confident beginner or you are willing to invest the time to learn, you can make this. And then I think this is the last pattern. It's the Groovy Shopping Bag by Yarn Addict. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's a crochet pattern and it's a tote bag. It uses an averand weight. Oh, it was originally written in Dutch, but now it's also in English. Oh yeah, we have very specific huge tote bags from one of the supermarkets, and it was made for that bag. If you use another bag to go in there, your stitches number might be different, but you know, I think with crochet that is so easily adjustable. You just make a chain, see if it fits, and then continue. This is made on a 4.5mm needle crochet hook. It's in a round, striped colorwork, and it's a written pattern, and it just looks good. And I think it's very different, and I think this is very doable with Advent. So that were all the patterns I found. Don't forget that all the patterns we talked about today, they're all linked down below. It's one big bundle. If you press that link, you will find a Referal page with every pattern that we just talked about on there. Maybe even a bit more. If I find some more later, I will add them to those. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found something that is interesting to you. If you have an opinion on my options, that would be great. I think for me, it's going between the confetti DK pullover, the crochet C-class tee, the stripe hype sweater, or the Sweetshop blanket. Although I do think I need more than these for the Sweetshop blanket, which is fine. I will get more minis, don't worry. I will get there. But that's good. Then it's going to be a longer project. I think, you know, that's fine. Then it has taken me a long time. It has given me a long entertainment. So that might help me with the price. Because I also pay for my entertainment, right? So if you have any opinions, which one you think would look great with this advent calendar, let me show you one more time. This is it. Or these are the first 7 days. When you see this, I have opened more, but right now, this is what I have. So this is what we have to deal with. Let me know, which option do you think would fit the best with these kind of mini skeins? Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like this video. It helps me out immensely, and it is easily done for you. Please comment down below what I need to do with my husband, because I have no clue. But also, if you want to see more caves from me, follow, ring the bell, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, nerds!